Hello, this is Dave, and welcome to Equity Story. First of all, I'd like to say I apologize that the video is a little bit late tonight, but we've just had one of those really busy days. Having a quick, firstly, a look at the ASX 200, and as you can see, we said we believed we'd struggle to trend above, get above that sort of happy line, and that's exactly what's happened today. And we certainly, the market's been really negative. I think we've had a good sell-off, basically. Generally speaking, across the board, and I think this week's going to get worse. I think that 5,200 could definitely come into play, and the word of warning is caution. I think these elections are making everybody very, very nervous, very uncertain of exactly which way the markets are going to go over over the medium term. And obviously there is an issue. Trump's starting to pick up in the polls, and potentially if Donald does get in, the markets, Wall Street doesn't want him, and as a result, we could have a juicy little sell-off. So there's a lot of caution out there, and you can see a little bit the way the market's been trading today. I think a lot of fund managers are certainly a little bit like what Equity Story did, what we did a month and a half ago. They're starting to take some chips off the table. Obviously, we like volatility Equity Story. It's going to give us some tremendous buying opportunities, I think, in the next month or so. And what I thought I'd do tonight is just go through some of these sort of 3-year growth stories, the ones that we've got, and just have a look. Not so much like when we sold them, but I think we can get back into some pretty good stories that which are sort of been sold off a little bit. And I think the first one is VTG. Now, this is a company that obviously we really liked the story last year. It was trending up beautifully. I think we made a nice sort of something like 75% on this in a few months. And generally 3-year growth stories, the idea is that you hold them and give them 3 years, obviously, or at least 2 years to make some money. But with Equity Story, if we get a stock that jumps that sort of 75% in a few months, it makes sense to take profits. I mean, there's fund managers going around the place that make 5% a year, and they think they're really clever. And so if we can do 75% in a few months, obviously we take those cards off the table. Now, VTG Group has had a good pullback today, and I've had a few calls and people are saying, Dave, should I get into? Is this a buy? And you know what? Normally I'd say yes, because as long as the story doesn't change. But for me now, the VTG story has really changed, and I found it's really strange where the management have moved part of their company into men's clothing. It's not really why we were in the company in the first place, but they sort of made that transgression into sort of a slightly different business model. Plus the fact their main business model, which is obviously with Telstra are now renegotiating part of their margins, and I think there's a lot of warning signs here. As a result, normally we wouldn't be I'd be suggesting to look at this and maybe get back in. I think this is the way the management are behaving. I think it's going to make the market very nervous, so I think this could go down quite a bit further. I think we need to see exactly what the deal with Telstra is all about, and exactly have a chat with management, exactly understand what's the idea of getting into men's clothing, and then have another look at it. Adasol, one of our favorite stocks, is actually nicely pulled back to that sort of longer term moving average. I do like this now. I would like to see it turn up a little bit, and but again, we're not going to put it on just till we got these elections out of the way and we know exactly what's gonna happen. But in normal times, I think we'd be back in here now. But at the moment, we're still a little bit sort of wait and see. Another one of our favorite companies, obviously Appin, again had a nice little pullback. I think if the market does pull back a little bit more, we can get this stock a little bit cheaper around this sort of 260 level. But it's on our watch list. It's a company we've made a lot of money with before. We're just sort of really sort of watching it closely, looking maybe to dive in at the right time and make some more money with the company. Catapult, again, this has been this year a nice little 100% returner for us. It's sort of trading sideways. Now, I think if it comes down here to sort of this $3 level on a weak market, if we have a few scares, certainly I think definitely it could be some interesting buying around that sort of level as well. Um, that's mainly it. I think the stocks we sold, NVL, again, we just took a sensible profit out of this. It has run it's had a good run from the moving average. This could potentially, with a little bit of a shock, come back to 160, maybe even 165. If it does that, I think we'll definitely be getting back into it. I'd just like to, before I go to that, just mention 4 stocks that I think are quite interesting at the moment. And one is Collins Foods, and it's a stock we've been watching for a long time. It's got an absolutely beautiful trend, really. For the last 3 years, it's hardly broken that trend line. It's looking really good. Maybe a little bit of resistance around this sort of $5 level. It's hard. It's broken through, but without any real conviction. But it was up today, and I think they're now expanding their business. They bought some stores, some food outlets in Germany. I think this is an interesting move for the company, and it's one we've today we've got it on the watch list, and we'll just wait and see, and something that certainly could be of interest to have a look on in the near future. And the other one I think is RSG. Again, it's a little gold play. It's not one of ours at the moment. Evolution Northern Star is where we like to be, and but certainly it's interesting. Little company management has been buying shares in it recently, and again, had a good move on the market today. I think because just good sentiment, seeing management going in, and obviously buying some shares in their own company. All the 3-year growth stories ones we've got at the moment we're holding. Generally speaking, they're doing well. Most of them are making good money for us. I think certainly for me, when I look at all the stories, over the wire, it's just been it's fantastic. Again, it's lightly traded. I think management owns sort of 70% of the stock, but again, just holding a really beautiful trend line in a pretty difficult market. And obviously, PWH and GTK, another absolutely, looks absolutely fantastic. Another stock we've done really well on. But again, we're happy to hold these ones, and simply we feel they're fairly new to the market. The business models are great, and I think they'll hold up pretty well if we have a bit of a fallback. And again, like I said, the other, 2 of our favorite stocks, ALU, watching it closely, coming down near our trend line, and we're itching to get back into this little company. Hansen, watching it closely, and Bellamy's, we said, I think, it's broken those trend lines. This is a weekly chart. It really needs to break it by the end of the week, but I think somewhere around $10 I like Bellamy's, and you could easily put a sort of a buy on Bellamy's around $10, and it could just come down. Sometimes it has these little spikes down. It could hit it and then bounce back up again, but I think anything around $10 is certainly for me good risk reward with the company. That's all I've got to talk about tonight. It's good to see MIGME get a bit of sense back in the company. It's up 25% today. We spoke about it last night. We love the story. Totally oversold, and I don't think if I was going to have to, one play on the market next year that I think could be having a really strong move upwards, and I think it is MIGME. I mean, we are believers in it. This micro cap market is volatile, but eventually the good stories and the stories that are growing their revenue and the stories that start to make money will certainly win through at the end of the day. Anyway, that's all I've got to talk about tonight on Equity Story. I look forward to bringing you the report tomorrow night. Thank you. Good night.